Yeah, because Kelsey, you know as well as I do, I mean, if you go out there on Fort Myers Beach, down the ramp there, I mean, you have a pretty good amount of beach before you hit the water.
Yeah, can your photographer turn around again, take the time, because this is our first real glimpse there. For those of you who may be listening over radio and couldn't see everything that she was showing us, she started in Times Square and there was a lot of wind damage around that area.
Certainly a lot of people in the same boat here in Collier this morning.
Of course.
It has got to be just such a shock, Oliver, to, you know, drive upon this damage. And it's going to be a shock for a lot of people, a lot of you watching and listening this morning. So I want you to mentally prepare yourself, you know, if you're in one of these areas, you know, to see some stuff that will upset you.
Yeah. All right, Oliver, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
But we haven't seen anything catastrophic yet, which is a good sign. Back to you.
Yeah, and Morgan, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that flooding, especially off on the side of the roadways as well. Is there any indication of that water? I know you just got there, but is the water going down, or do you think it's still rising?
All right, Olivia, thanks so much. And what you talk about, you know, you said the winds are so bad, and we can see that in your picture. We're hearing that from a lot of people down in Collier County.
And they're saying it on Facebook too, and I'm watching it now. We hear you. If you're watching on Facebook, we're live on Facebook right now, and you're asking us questions. So, and yeah, we're getting a lot of you. What's happening in Naples?
It could have been much worse. We still have a lot to assess in the morning. For now, I'll send it back to you guys.
Wow.
That, for anyone who was on radio, the awning of the gas station, a Shell gas station, was just completely tilted sideways and bent.
I'm not understanding how some of those signals can work and others don't.
Yeah, it's going to be such a weird thing. I mean, one community could have power, the next community over.
It's going to be so intermittent.
Yeah, everyone with no power. Angelica, you know, so many people here in Florida, you know, they've ridden out hurricanes before, and they say, oh, it'll just be another hurricane. But many of the forecasters and our own meteorologists say, you know, not one hurricane is the same. Have you ever been through anything like this in your lifetime before? It was undescribable. I mean, you know, I've been through hurricanes before, but this one tops the cake.
Yeah, this was it was unlike an experience I've ever had, and all I kept thinking about was, you know, where we are, we have the hurricane impact. Our building's very secure. I kept thinking about, I have family and other, you know, all of you who were sheltering in homes, and maybe there was aluminum shutters, and just how much different the wind was. For me, fortunately, it was more just awe. You know, I wasn't that scared because I didn't experience the howling winds like so many of the people, you guys, the people listening to us right now did, you know.
And remember the live shots?
And being in the dark, we weren't in the dark, we had power, you know, we weren't in a closet. So for those of you who are still listening by radio because you're somewhere where you know, don't have power, I can only imagine how much more traumatic it was.
It's traumatic, and you know, we're going to get, actually, we have a new power update right now from LCEC, and I believe the latest numbers are here. Currently 170,000 customers without power, and this is actually updated since we spoke with Karen Ryan from LCEC.
And so that means that there are about 45,000 of you homes that do have power. We asked her, what's the $1 million question? Well, it's how soon will power be restored? You know, and it's kind of like they got to treat it as a triage system where basically first they got to get all of the power. First they got to assess, and then they got to get power back to hospitals, you know, communication centers, places that are going to be responding to different things like law enforcement. Then it's going to be business areas where there's the greatest impact, and then into the smaller neighborhoods. So it's going. We're in this for the you know, long
few days,
haul.
few weeks. I mean,
a few days at least.
It's not out of the question to say it could be, you know, a few weeks in spots, just because, like you said, they do have to do it at a matter of priority, you know. But this system, I mean, it was powerful. You know, I thought about it compared to Matthew. Remember last year, Matthew, during those live shots, it looked like a wet dog and all that. That was nothing compared to some of the gusts that we had yesterday.
Yeah, it was definitely intense, even inside here. So yeah, it was something to live through, that's for sure. And I'm hoping all of you out there are safe this morning.
Meanwhile, we want to let you know if and when you start heading out the door or leaving the shelters, bridges, they will not reopen until they know that they're deemed safe, they being crews. Lee County Department of Transportation, the Florida Department of Transportation are going to inspect bridges today to ensure they're structured structural integrity and make sure that they're safe.
And because of Hurricane Irma's significant wave action, the Sanibel Causeway may have actually been impacted by all that. But until there's an inspection, we're told the causeway is still off limits, and it's just not safe to drive on any bridges when the wind is still so strong.
Yeah, you should also make sure that you're really staying off the roads until emergency officials have time to get out there, assess, and also respond. Take a look at this. This is actually from Caroline Allison. You can see it's, can we drop this for a second, guys? See the tree? This is on Burnt Store Isle, and it barely actually missed a car there, she told us.